Hello, everybody, and welcome to Homeward Bound. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well.
Yep, all good.
Good. Very good. You all missed a good pre-show if you're watching this VOD. So let's just roll into game.
Neal? Was it good?
It was.
If by good, you mean listening to Neal stick on his Cinnabon?
I think it was 7.9 out of 10.
Yeah, the audio wasn't even that sticky.
I don't know what to do with you guys. Where did we leave off in
That's what
Hobo?
she said.
Slaying demons.
Yes. What else were you doing?
Running for our lives.
That too.
Yeah.
Boating.
Boating.
It's-
Yeah.
There's a holiday weekend here, so riding on boats.
We
Very good.
Yeah, we found an old ship, repaired it, and basically sailed north from Caledonia, following the stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
right. There's no recaps.
And
There
then
are
we
no
landed
recaps.
on a new plane or a new landmass that we don't recognize.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's hell.
Neal,
We're in hell.
yeah, am I right in thinking that the one thing we did see was a volcano?
You do seem to recall some bright lights that were consistent
no,
with
there's a-
volcanic.
Are you telling me
activity.
that Grimes can't look out of the boat right now and see a volcano?
Yeah, you look at the boat right now and see a volcano. Totally.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on the boat.
Intermittently erupting.
You are on the boat. Let me just give us
I
some
want-
background.
So we're sitting back on the top of the boat and talking to Grimes. We're drinking some of the alcohol that we took from, was it Conquest, or we took some alcohol? No, from New Haven.
What did
Some
we?
alcohol from,
What did we find?
just liquor of some sort, wasn't it?
I
What
do
else?
believe it was gin.
Gin. So we're having a gin.
1500-year-old Caledonian gin.
Mhm.
And I'm looking at the volcano, and I say to Grimes, the whole time on Caledonia, the volcanoes were the answer to it all along. Maybe it's no coincidence that this is the first thing we see over here. Maybe Bellum wants us to go there.
Hmm.
The only other thing I
Grimes
think I'll do
nods thoughtfully.
is to just sail around the coast and see what we find. I think heading in, following that road into the mainland, seems like it could end very badly very quickly.
Are there eels in the water, Neal?
Yes, the
excited.
eels are still splashing about you, kicking up a little bit of foaming froth, shrieking and hissing in your ears.
God, it's
Could
horrible.
it really get much worse than this?
Well, I mean, if we run into 50 of those demons that we fought yesterday, then yeah, it could get worse. I'm going to do a little experiment here, Neal. I'm just going to stop breathing.
Okay, you stop breathing. You hold your breath.
Do I feel a need to breathe again after like a minute?
Yes.
Okay.
Do we need to bust out the rule book to figure out how many minutes he can hold his breath, or is it non-mechanical?
Well, how long do you want to hold your breath?
Well, if I feel like I'm lacking oxygen, then I'll start breathing again. I just want to check that we actually need to breathe.
You do need to breathe.
Okay. Because I was thinking, Grimes, why can't the dragons fly? Maybe if there's no atmosphere here, maybe they can't get any air resistance.
I believe you mean the ether.
I mean, I'm no physicist, but
Pretty sure it's the ether. Surrounds us
Yeah.
all. It's the medium through which dragons fly.
well, I guess they still have ether here then, if we're breathing it.
I don't know if it's the same on other planes. Maybe it's a different elemental makeup.
Why would that
Really
stop
don't-
the dragon though?
Zara is napping with the pups and the dogs in the back of the boat.
Yeah. At some point, ought to ask for her take on this. It's probably just starting to sink in that she's made a horrible mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of feel bad for bringing the dogs here, actually.
And the and the
And the
knoll pups
puppies?
and the dogs, whatever. But well, actually, kind of all of them.
They'll all die eventually, I suppose, but at least they could have had like a year left, chilling on Caledonia before the flesh.
We're already dead.
Is this a conversation between Grimes and William that you're having?
William, we have to be in hell. Forced to relive all of our greatest failures, all of our sins over and over again. Repopulate this new wasteland.
I agree that we're in hell.
With another litter of pups to die.
But if hell's an actual place, maybe we're just here by accident. Maybe this isn't punishment. Maybe we're just got here by mistake.
Just passing through.
Yeah.
Then why have we been cursed to lead the Caledonian expedition in perpetuum? And I gesture to the litter of sleeping pups.
Yeah, I look at them and look back.
What do you think? More or less useful than Hughes's lot?
About the same, probably. Yeah, it's kind of ironic. We spent the whole time in the first expedition killing gnolls. And now we're here protecting them.
So I think we're putting our little boat along the shore, right?
Sure. There's
probably
cliffs.
trying to see if it's possible to get closer to the volcano.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you are, I believe you said you were going to head east.
Oh, wait, sorry. Should we not just wait like
West.
7 days to full heal first?
We do want to rest, but might as well put the boat around, or are we just going to
Okay.
park it off the shore in the same spot? I mean, might as well. I think
Sleep
we'll
in
probably
row, sleep
maybe
in
one
row.
of us is rowing, one of us is on the rudder. Dogs are sleeping, so we just sort of putt around at a
Slow pace.
slow pace.
Okay. Nimrod and his wife, girlfriend, fiance. Maybe kobolds don't have a concept of marriage.
They're pretty free living old puppies, aren't they?
They live the rock and roll lifestyle. So Nimrod and his girl are alert and awake and huddled together on the bow, whispering to one another and pointing out things. And then, they'll point out that and then quickly dart back and, lower themselves for a moment when a blast of lava comes up. And then they'll slowly pull themselves back over the boat with a childlike curiosity at the world around them. You continue to sail west around the edge until you come to a nice little beach landing that is not covered in creepy, crawly, fleshy bit.
This is where we're supposed to land.
It's got sand.
Is there so west was closer to the volcano?
Yeah, well, you would kind of come towards it, and then to get closer, you either have to go overland or maybe try and find a water route. And you just, last week you said you went west, so we're just going west.
It's not on the coast of the volcano, it's inland.
Right, it's inland, so you're trying to find a way.
We can get the coast around closer somewhere, but.
Right, or maybe you've hit one small island and it's on another island beyond it. You don't really know. You can only see 100 feet or so in the dark.
That's a good point. How many days has it been since we left till finding this beach?
How would you know?
Well, how much HP have I healed?
Okay. It has been one person's sleep cycle. So one of you gains 8 HP. I'll let you decide who.
Right, so does that mean one of us is about to go to sleep? I guess.
Yeah, if you were going to switch off between rowing.
I don't think we should get out, Christ, just yet. I think we should just park up here and see what happens. Watch it for a bit. Heal ourselves up. I know that we're curious, we want to make progress, but the one advantage we do have here is that the passage of time doesn't seem to be affecting us.
How comfortable is it to sleep on this boat surrounded by eels?
More comfortable than sleeping on the ground, I'd say.
Yeah, the boat it's a fishing boat, so it looks like it was designed for day trips. That said, without a whole bunch of fish in the hull, you can find places to sleep. There's probably some boards over the ballast, so you're not sleeping on rocks. There's no roof to it, but there's also no weather or rain to speak of, so that seems fine. It's really just the hissing of the eels and the occasional splashing from them and the distant calls of those shrieking beings out on the land. But those sound effects aside, this is probably a decent spot.
Do we ever see? Sorry, right. Go ahead.
Oh, you're fine.
Do we ever see anything in the water that suggests that there might be something bigger out there than these eels?
William stares into the water, looking for answers, looking for something else. Give me a perception check, William.
Okay. 19.
No, you scour the ocean. You see the eels. Some of them are much bigger than others. Some of them are quite small. But you never see anything else in there.
We don't see anything big enough that if I feel like it could damage the ship.
Some of these eels are pretty big, but they don't look like they are damaging the ship. You know, maybe if they really tried or wrapped themselves around and constricted like a snake, but maybe they can't function like that. But there are definitely some 50-pound eels in there.
I mean, we know, Grimes, that there's demons on the mainland. I think we're safer off here. Although, admittedly, without that flesh stuff spying on us.
Eels aren't demons? When have you ever seen a 50-pound eel?
No, I agree.
Horrific.
Yeah, it's something.
All right. I think we traded off watches, though.
Okay.
Grimes will get some sleep.
Yeah.
So
I
a
guess
couple.
we're just gonna park it in this cove. Was that what you were saying?
Well, I think maybe 30 feet away from the.
Is there a bottom? Do we drop anchor?
I suppose you would have an anchor with you. You can get close enough to try and drop anchor somewhere. How far would you like to be from shore?
30 feet.
30 feet? Yeah, totally. You paddle on in close, drop the anchor. It goes down maybe, 10, 12 feet. Not too far. Far enough that you can't touch at this point, but not unreasonable.
Make sure nothing crawls up that.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's just take watches for a few sleeps.
Yeah, you guys spend a while in the boat. The dogs get restless. The kobolds get restless. And I think you grow an appreciation for the fact that no one has to eat or drink because there's no dog shit that piles up in the boat over time, and you guys don't have to hang your asses off the edge.
That's good.
Over those eels.
Yeah.
Oh my.
During the downtime, the harpoon, Neal?
Mm-hmm.
I want to study it carefully. And if it was 5A, I'd be trying to attune myself to it. But what I'm looking for is maybe if there's any letterings carved on it anywhere that could be a command word, or any hints to what it might do, short of having an identify spell to cast.
No command words. No hints.
No special feelings if I think really hard.
I'm sure you get some special feelings. I don't know how you would differentiate what you want from what you are getting mystical vibrations of,
Yeah, sure, that makes sense.
Are you looking at the rune sword?
No, the harpoon.
Oh.
But the rune sword as well, I guess. I suppose it could do something else. Okay, I don't know. I just thought maybe that would work, but...
Yeah, nice try. Okay. Days pass in the boat. The Knoll at some point does wake up with the kids and speaks to Grimes a little bit, asking you, where do you think we really are? I know we've discussed back and forth the nature of this place. But is this the afterlife? Is this paradise? Far away? Are we on the moon?
Would you call this paradise? Cursed by Belthara to fight for vengeance eternally?
I have failed my people. I understand why I would be punished.
And I think maybe we failed ours.
She looks to the pups. These ones, though, they've done nothing wrong.
Perhaps they are our punishment.
That is an interesting thought to her and keeps her quiet
Or at
for a
least
long
our,
time.
Penance.
Yeah, you find her. Well, you will find her in prayer for most of the remainder of your time on this boat. Nursing pups, praying. Nursing pups, praying.
She pray to her dagger?
She does mount the dagger, stick it in the boat and use it as a holy symbol. And she'll put her whatever amulet that she has over it as well. So there's kind of like, the two hanging on each other. Yeah.
So maybe one day she'll get an answer back. I assume she'll tell us if she does.
Hopefully. Some time passes and you guys are all full up again.
All right.
Oh wow.
Shall we? I feel well, Grimes. Shall we make for the shore and see what we can find?
Yeah, we've been undisturbed in this cove the whole time.
Yeah, it's like no one knows that you're here, or if they do, they don't care.
Grimes, ask Zara if she feels comfortable leaving the pups with Nimrod and the dogs here, and coming with us. Otherwise, I suppose she can stay here.
Zara, I think we've rested long enough. If we make landfall, what should we do with the pups and the dogs and kobolds?
Bring them.
And
If this is hell, and these are our penance, then we must protect them, even if it means suffering or dying.
In the last life, Captain William had a great many wards to look after, men at his command. All of them have died. Maybe I just leave it hanging there. I pull the anchor back onto the ship, and one of us starts paddling into shore.
What did she say, Grimes? She wants to come with us?
She wants to bring the pups with us. She thinks that if they're ours to look after, they should be with us.
All right. You guys...
I will actually venture to ask, do you think we should have left them back on Caledonia?
She shakes her head. No, they must be with us. If we were to leave them behind, it would be better to put them down.
Did the Knolls call it Caledonia, or was there a Knollish word for it?
There is probably a Knollish word, but you're translating through magic, so you always feel like you're speaking your own language.
Yeah. All right. So we pull the boat up into the shallows.
When you pull your anchor up, there are things on it. Fleshy, like flat but long things that sort of like wrap around the links here and there.
I think I draw I draw my phase blade and just like
you can
cut them off as I pull the anchor on.
As you slay them, they poof into small little bits that float down gently into the water.
That were wrapped around the chain or something.
No, these are something else. Something that lurks below the water, maybe on the ocean floor. They look like big, wide leeches almost.
Nasty.
Yeah. Okay.
You know when we stabbed the eye that was in the flesh ground, did that turn to like fly things as well, or did that just sort of die?
Would have been a great question to ask right when it happened. You can't remember looking back. It's a good question,
Can we
though.
pull the boat all the way up onto the sand?
Yeah, between the two of you, easy.
Is that how boats are meant to... I mean, eventually we'll need to jump out into shallow water, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Or if you can surf it all the way in,
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Neither of you have a boating check.
Oh, wow.
We were just rolling on William's natural 20 last time.
Yeah.
All right, William, give me a dex check to maneuver your boat to surf the boat in.
Is Grimes not driving?
Yeah.
Grimes, give me a dex check to surf the boat in.
Yeah, I don't have any boating, but I can swim and I can use rope. I feel like I might have some familiarity with... No.
No.
Oh, God.
Your boat starts to go in, but then the tail begins to drift, and the wave comes, and the whole thing gets like... I guess it's not a wave. No, you're right. You can't surf it in then. I guess actually if there's no waves, you can just pull it right up to the sand and hop out the front.
Still?
Yeah.
Maybe I still find a way to botch it.
There may be like some very slight undulations. It's not glassy still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but actually, if there's no waves, then
the waves are created by eels.
Yeah, you can just row it all the way up until the bow hits sand, and then hop off and drag it in. We don't actually need to make a check. It'll be fine.
Okay.
If I jump into the shallow water, are we attacked by eels?
Do you jump into the shallow water?
It sounds like we have to, right?
I was saying that you can jump off the bow and hit sand from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's do that.
All right.
Unload
You
off
make it
the
onto
side of
this
the
sandy beach. By the light of your weapons, you can see that it is tawny sand below you.
By weapons, you mean the flaming sword?
Flaming sword, your phase blades. Those are your light sources.
You specifically said my phase blades didn't illuminate light.
I feel like I've actually told you both ways. There was the Reddit thread last week after the last episode, and someone called out some inconsistencies. One of them were Grimes' light sources.
Yeah, I thought I didn't have any light sources except for this crossbow.
In the first episode, part 1, Ryan asked whether his daggers would produce light, and Neal confirmed they do because it is an ethereal flame. And then later, it was assigned a 15-foot radius, and then later it was dropped altogether. And I think that was a mistake on my part in the third episode, was forgetting that they produce light.
So they do produce light. Not as much as the flaming sword, but...
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. They are...
Okay. So I'll carry the flaming sword then as we're walking around, but ready to then pull the rune blade if we get attacked.
Okay.
So we unload pups and all.
They all hop off. The dogs are eager to be
Grimes
on
crouches
ground.
down and grabs a fistful of sand. Is it ordinary sand?
Yeah, it's cold to the touch. Falls through your fingers like sand. It gets everywhere. It's uncomfortable. It's not romantic in the slightest. You find yourself hating it and everything about it.
Stands up in disgust, throws the fistful of sand down.
What's wrong?
I hate sand.
What? It's gonna be better than that flesh stuff. Look, maybe we can find out where the edge is between the normal ground and the flesh, and maybe we can work out why. Do you think this could be people living here? Carving out a place for themselves?
Call those demons people.
No, well, it's separate to them, maybe. Maybe there's more than one faction, or
some lost souls like us. How large is this beachhead?
60 feet wide. It kind of curves around in like a horseshoe or a bullhorn shape. And then it rolls back up maybe 30 feet or so until it turns into rocky terrain.
I guess we walk to that edge there.
Yep.
The edge of the rock. Is there creep overtaking the rock?
There is no creeping flesh.
Interesting.
Are we closer to the volcano or less close than before? I mean,
maybe a little closer. You know, you just have like these occasional puffs of lava in the sky to tell, and your depth perception is pretty difficult to tell at the night, and you might be a little closer. It's hard to say.
Yeah. I was thinking, Grimes, maybe the volcano is important because their weapons and their armor are made of obsidian, and they seem resistant to fire. Maybe they're born of the volcano or something like that.
Demons spat out of a volcano? Sounds plausible.
Yeah. There was demons buried under a volcano back in Caledonia, although they were elves. Demonic enough for me.
Yeah. All right. Inland you go? Dogs in tow?
I think so. Against my better judgment with the dogs, by the way. But
I don't know. What are you going to do?
If they die, they die.
All right. You... yeah?
Yeah, so to Zara, I will say, I'll draw one of my phase daggers. Have you seen me use these?
She nods. I have.
They're, I call them phase daggers. When you wield them, you are put out of step with this plane. Like, I think when I'm holding one, right, am I like, do I look different?
Yeah,
like,
when you have one drawn, you are 25% transparent. When you have two drawn, you are 50% transparent, right? Was that it? Or is it 50, 75?
Yeah. I think that's not even close. It's 1 HP, so I assume that it's 2%.
Okay.
Because 1 HP is
Yeah.
2%.
Not that much.
My max HP or so.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
But that's, I mean, it's up to you.
So yeah, you fade slightly from reality, and she nods and says, "I have seen your magic," which
they offer some degree of protection. Perhaps even more important here on this plane, to be out of phase with our surroundings. Perhaps you should wield one. Offer her the dagger version.
she seems curious by this action and asks you what you will wield instead.
That seems like I mean, I can gesture to the arsenal, but that seems like an odd question to ask given Grimes' appearance.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I only have a few extra blades at this point. Maybe only 2.
What are you planning to use?
I have my swift sword, and then I've got another phase dagger. Given how much damage she was taking, and you were taking, I mean, I almost thought William might be better with the phase, with the.
I mean, probably because it does so much damage. But,
yeah, it doesn't have any magic bonuses. But anyways,
yeah.
I think Zara should dual wield phase dagger with vengeance dagger.
But
Even if she's not actually attacking with it, the damage reduction might be helpful.
she'll never hit.
She'll never hit on a
Yeah,
she hits better than Grimes. Oh, you mean because of dual wielding stuff?
Yeah, and the Valthara dagger is a +3, isn't it? So like that helps her. Because it's AC that's the real problem here.
Yeah. In any case, I will have the large phase dagger and then my short sword in offhand.
Perfect. She takes the dagger, wields it, phases out a little bit, kind of looks at herself, checks out her surroundings. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, what is our marching order? Who wants to be point?
I'll be in the front.
And are you going in just one large column, or are you like having one person scout out and then the whole troop catch up? How do you maneuver in this world? As a small cluster?
I think like maybe it's more like to just be me and Grimes at the front side by side, then Zara behind, and then the dogs and the kobold and the gnoll pups all behind her.
Okay, but it sounds like you're just marching in a single column then.
Yeah.
With no advanced scout.
Correct.
I mean, unless Grimes, but there's not really much point at having an advanced scout when you can only see.
Seems like there's something to scout ahead. Yeah.
Sure. So William and Grimes side by side in the front.
I'd like to know if we come across the fleshy ground again.
Sure. Zara behind with dogs and pups, and kobolds behind that.
Yeah.
Does anyone remember Nimrod's girlfriend's name?
Started with an M.
Can't remember.
I'll find out if I can.
Mogwag? No.
Mogwag, that's it.
Is it?
That's what chat is saying.
Oh, okay.
We could call her Boopoo, but we're not crazy. But we could. I got crazy to start reading Dragonlance. Making Boopoo references all week. It's great. I live for this shit. How do you not know who Boopoo is? Raceland's gully dwarf that he finds and he befriends that gives him the lizard on the necklace? She was so sweet. She fell in love with him. It's alright. He cast Charm Person on a gully dwarf and she fell head over heels in love with an evil wizard.
Sounds familiar.
Dalama.
Raceland, but one and the same, right?
Oh, okay.
Something.
No. Raceland and Fisted Antilus are one and the same.
Oh, okay.
Ish, kind of, maybe. It gets confusing.
There's some weird, like, time continuity thing, like master becoming apprentice and time loops and
and soul stealing and eating your apprentice. Yeah, there's some weird shit going on in there.
All right.
Sounds like Georg.
Are we sorry we're spoiling a book from 20 years ago?
We're also not really spoiling anything. The stuff we're talking about comes from like annexed books much later. Nothing that we say will impact what you're reading. I promise.
All right. All right.
I think William and Grimes are walking a comfortable. I don't think we're doing this super strategic. I mean, we're on edge, but I don't know how to like. Military formation versus demons. I think William and Grimes are 10, 15 feet apart, comfortable walking distance, and then trailing another 30 feet behind, maybe.
You come along
dogs, the dog parade.
Yeah, you come along the rocky ground around you, and it looks sort of, I don't know how to describe. Let me try and describe this. Think it's like sheets of rock that are sort of not. I wouldn't call them quite flat, but like sort of bumpy and rounded, almost like it's been worn by weather, except there is no weather here. And it's all this sort of dark rock, like a deep blue, sort of soft sandy rock that you're walking across that's smoothed out. There's maybe some slight hills and rises and lots of like little bumps, but there are very few sharp edges or jagged outcroppings. It's more of just like, I don't know, as if the entire area were made out of some like weird undulating glass, except instead of glass, it's like rocky. But it's that same sort of smooth rolling sensation over everything. Until maybe 10 minutes into your journey, when you see a crack or a crevice begin to form in the rock. And as you walk alongside the crevice, it kind of bottoms out with some jagged, sharp edges on the side and a pool of water in it. And it stretches out before you, to the end of your light. It's maybe 10 feet deep. And at the point you are right now, maybe 5 feet wide. So it'd be difficult to climb into. But the crevice looks like it opens up before you further and further.
Is there anything underneath the water? Or is it opaque?
Your light doesn't shine through the water. It sort of reflects off the top of it.
I shoot an ethereal crossbow bolt into the pool.
Perfect. The bolt sinks into the water about 2 inches and then flickers out of existence. It looks like it's just a thin layer of water in this crevice.
I don't know that we investigate, right? I think we pick a side and walk along the water shore.
It feels arbitrary, but pick left or right.
Going right.
Right, yeah, agreed.
Okay. You head along this until the time comes for perception checks, which is now.
We didn't mention it, but Grimes, are you like firing off your ethereal arrows every?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe
26.
retcon, that was probably less. The reason I was doing that was because it was my only light source.
Right. Okay.
And as it does make sense, if it's the same kind of ethereal flame on the arrows and on the blades, it makes sense that they shed. And I do think I would call them. I don't know. Yeah.
So with a 28, that's 26. Okay. I can see
Unless
in the
there's
small
bonuses.
window. No, I'm just looking on the OBS overlay because it's always up, and it looked like an 8. With a 26, you can see something, William. You're walking not quite north right now, maybe like northeast-ish.
Yeah.
And for a brief moment, something like passes in front of the stars, and you see this, like, the stars get blotted out for a moment and then reappear quickly.
Could it have been a dragon?
I suppose it could be anything.
But it's like far away, right? Or like right in front of us.
You see an absence of light instead of light. You have no depth on this information.
Yeah, but if it covered up like all of the stars, then it's probably very close to us.
It covered up the majority of them momentarily.
But they're not full-on stars in the sky, right? It's just like a small arc of stars.
Yeah. Right, like a small cone.
Grimes, I saw something up ahead. Blotted out the stars. Stay on guard.
Stars.
Whatever it is, it'll be able to see us.
Forward and then up. With a 21, I didn't see anything, Neal.
No, not with the 21. You were focused on the ground at your feet.
Yeah. There's still none of that demonic flesh, is there?
None.
Creep, are we calling it creep, or is that too much of a...
I would like to call it creep.
You can call it creep if you'd like. It's hard to... Any sort of flesh that crawls across the ground will forever in my heart and mind be creep from StarCraft.
At least there's no banelings. Or we'd be in trouble.
Don't give me many ideas.
Yeah. I don't think... I mean... Because, like, actually the smart thing to do is just sail around the coast. Look
Is
for
there a
clues.
smart thing to do?
Well, I think it's the least risky option. It's the most information for the least risk. Because what we haven't got is information. But this is intriguing enough that there's no flesh here.
Seems like it's calling us.
Maybe we should go into that crevice, Grimes. I mean...
Is the crevice still right next to us? Or is it just like a...
It's actually gotten
at this point?
wider and no deeper. So now it's maybe 20 feet wide. And still about 10 feet deep. And if you fire an arrow, it's still only, an inch or two of water.
How long would you say we walked along this bluish stone that was all the same until we came across this crevice?
It's been at least half an hour by this point. Yeah. It was 10 minutes when we made some decisions, and then we kept going, and yeah.
I think we don't go inside, just because, if we'd been walking for 10 hours and it had all been the same, and then this turned up, then okay, maybe we go in there, but there could be loads of crevices.
Yeah, I think we keep walking, unless William makes a big deal out of something blotting out the stars. I think we're...
No, I think it's... I don't know. He's playing tricks on me, maybe.
All right.
Sure there's nothing there.
You keep walking, and you begin to hear the sounds of cries and yells. And just even though they're in a foreign language, it sounds like the yells of war. And as you get a little closer,
to us, or is it like we're coming upon something?
You are coming upon something. In addition to the countless shrieking in the distance that never ceases, you now hear battle cries and the sound of steel on steel or stone on stone. The crevice continues, and in front of you, there's a hill that the crevice looks like it goes right in between, splitting the hill apart. But you can still climb over the hill, and these sounds are echoing from the other side of this hill.
Yeah, I don't know if others follow, but I think Grimes gets into a low crouch and sort of silently stealth jogs up the top of the hill to get a look.
The cries, Neal, you said that foreign language? Was that foreign language, or was it demonic, abyssal?
That's what I'm talking about. Demonic, abyssal, foreign language.
Okay, well, I follow Grimes then. I'll walk slowly, crouch down.
Okay, where is my... No. Right. You climb to the top of this hill. Zara's guarding the dogs and the kobolds and the pups as you guys breach your head over the top and come across the sight of what's got to be 40 or 50 demons locked in combat with each other. They appear to be two sides fighting sort of over this ravine area over which there are these makeshift bridges made out of some sort of blackish stone. And there are many different demon types before you. I'm going to just spout some shit at you really quickly. If you don't pick it all up, that's fine. It's in the middle of combat and there's not a lot of light. The light sources that you do have are these occasional balls of fire that will appear in someone's hand and race across the sky until they explode on the ground. Or they are in the form of flaming breath weapons that burst out of one or another. On the ground, you've got the thungs, those little dog-like demons you've seen before. There's also a contingent of 7 or 8 of these weird snake-like people that have crab claws near the front of them that seem to be hurling something with their tails at people from a distance, so some sort of ranged unit. There are the frontline fighters that you saw before, the tall guys with the whip and the sword that create sections up on the ground that jut up like giant spikes that then hold fast. There is a tall and thin character in purplish armor with blue-purple skin, high cheekbones that are wielding spears and throwing fireballs from their hands, small little fireballs, not 20-foot AoE or 20-foot radius fireballs.
Oh, okay.
Additionally, there's behind those snake-like people with crab claws that are using their tails to throw things, there's this weird three-legged creature whose head sort of like splits into three areas, and its teeth are open, or its mouth is open, teeth out, pointing towards the sky. It's just like body, legs, and a head that points up with maybe some tentacles coming out from underneath it or something. Standing there doing literally nothing. Behind that is one of those people with the eyes on their hands and on their feet and on their forehead. And then a moment later, stepping into view is what must have blotted out the light. It sort of comes from behind all those things. It is 25 feet tall. It's got 3 legs that are like, 15, like the bottom part is 15, and then the next part is 15, and the next part is 10 feet or something like that. And it's got this middle bluish scaled body that suspends between these 3 legs as it stomps forward, and there's a giant eye on the bottom of it, or on the front of it, that looks around, and it kind of brings its body low to inspect something and then stands high to inspect other things. The other demon force is similarly, not the exact same composition, but similar creatures.
How do they discern between the two? Are they like different colors, or are they just exactly the same, just on different sides of this machine?
You just get like brief flashes of light here, brief flashes of light there. There's not enough detail to really figure out markings or trappings or anything, and you're on one side, one of the sides is much closer to you, and that's how you're getting like a good look at the things nearby. The other side, you get little glimpses between the combat, and it seems pretty one-sided. Like the side that you're watching from is ripping the other to shreds. And as it does so, the warriors up front will drag the fallen warriors of the enemy back towards these creatures in the back, and then descend on it and feast on the demons that they've already slain.
They don't disappear when they're slain?
They don't appear to have, no.
William and then back to Zara.
You go back to William and then to Zara?
I look to William and then back to Zara. I think they followed me up the crest of the hill, right? So they can
Zara's staying down below.
Okay.
William's here with you.
And look, there's no stars in the sky now.
I think I'll gesture Zara to come have a look.
She scampers up the hill and lays quietly next to you, watching.
Mm-hmm.
I murmur a prayer to Bellum. I feel like this is his idea of, I don't know, the perfect place, right? Just two sides of continual war.
The battle rages for another 5-10 minutes until the side, I'm going to call it your side, just because that's the side you're on, that you're behind. Your side seems to overrun the other. And
so they cross the bridge and
they cross. Yeah, there are a couple of small bridges that they have crossed over, and they drag the corpses back, sort of to like the central station near those snake people with the crab claws.
So over this time, can I get a head count, a tail count?
Yeah, you see 7 of these snake-like people. You see 2 of the lensmen with the eyes and the hands and everything. And as you're making your head count, and the bodies are being dragged back, that short, squat, 3-legged thing with the face upturned towards the sky, its mouth opens even wider to like an impossible 180 degree full open, and it lets out the most hideous, awful shrieking cry, which instantly reminds you of the ones you heard back near the lighthouse. And it just starts belting shrieks into the air after the battle.
How do the other demons react to it?
Not in the slightest. The person with the 2 demons with the lensmen, the eyes and the hands and everything, are floating 10 feet in the air. The tall creature, we're going to call it just an overseer because it's literally over everything and it's got eyes on it, so it's seeing all around. There's just one of them.
Describe that one again.
Do you remember? Did you play Half-Life 2?
Yeah.
Remember the striders that walk around in the city? Those giant tripods? Think of it something like that, except it's that concept of 3 tall legs of a stalking tripod creature with a central body that the legs attach to and nothing else. Except
That's
this
the one
has
that
these.
blots out the sun.
Yeah, the sky, the stars.
Stars. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got these long, thin legs with this like plating around it, and then the main body has like softer, bluer scales covering it, and the eye in the front, and then just like a giant mouth on the bottom, as if it could like just come down from above, bite you, and rip you up. And then there's the ones in the purple armor, and you saw 2 of those as well. And then who knows how many thungs and warriors.
Both sides had thungs. Both sides had the same composition, more or less. Just
well, your side had a lot more, and you couldn't see if the other side had the snake crab men thingies, or some of the other, you couldn't see if the other side had lensmen or overseers or anything.
Do any of the ones on our side die? Like, from the other side, win the fight?
Yes, and they get dragged back as well and feasted upon by the victors.
Do any that get killed by like ranged weaponry just die and disperse into the things?
Not that you saw, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. It is a chaotic battle.
Yeah. I
As
shake my head at Grimes.
things wrap up a little bit, you watch the feasting, and at some point they stop, and some of the warriors are dragging the bodies of the semi-feasted upon enemies, and then stop feasting.
How far away are we from the battlefield?
You are from the back lines of your side, maybe 80 feet. The front lines where the battle was, you're maybe 250 feet.
Okay.
The warriors drag the half-eaten carcasses in the direction of the volcano. Vaguely in the direction of the volcano. And the rest of them split off and head across the bridges, and off in that direction.
Is the volcano straight ahead? Like, does the ravine head towards the volcano?
The ravine is headed in the general direction of the volcano. It's headed like northwest, and the warriors are sort of going northeast, or north by northwest and north by northeast. Both generally northern.
How many warriors drag off the dead?
5. And it is worth noting, now that you're looking after these warriors, that they are armored a little bit differently. They don't have the heavy plate that those first warriors that you saw had. These are more of the, they've just got shields and swords without any plate mail on.
The ones we fought last episode.
Yeah.
Grimes, do you think we should try and follow them?
I think we're already too close for comfort.
Wait for the rest of them to leave and then head after them, maybe a few hours behind them.
At least a few minutes. Yeah. So I think we perch up on this hill for a little while and let the battle subside.
Yeah. Do we hear the sounds of battle like across the ravine? Like maybe they've just
no. The sounds of
next fight.
The sounds of battle have ended when the feasting began.
But it seemed like the majority of the army were like invading into enemy territory once the feasting was over there, right? Like carrying on across the ravine.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to you.
So you said 40 in total. That was split between the two sides. So
that was your
like
initial
10 or something.
That was maybe your initial guess, but now that you're looking at it afterwards, you must have been missing the vast majority of troops, because more than 40 demons came back, like hauling bodies. So there must have been at least maybe 100 total. Your side had maybe 60. Your initial view only made it look a lot smaller.
Well,
we can take 5 though if you get backstab on them.
I think we wait on this hill for a safe amount of time after things quiet down.
Sure. You wait until you've lost sight of all the demons.
And then I think we crest the hill and walk over the other side to get a look at this battlefield.
There is nothing left of the battlefield. There's no blood, there's no bodies. It's just barren, rocky ground. This ravine, which is still only like 10 or 15 feet deep here, with a few inches of water at the bottom, and these makeshift stone bridges. They look like they've been made out of like long shards of stone that have just been like slapped down over it.
Are there craters from the fireballs that were being thrown around?
No, but there are scorch marks. Burn marks, yeah. You can like rub your finger along the ground and pick up soot on it.
But no blood stains. Did they
No
look
blood.
green? Maybe demons don't bleed. These corpses stuck around after they were slain. Did you notice that?
I nod. They had hold of them, right? They were dragging them.
I think the dogs sort of spread out and sniff around the battlefield.
Yeah. They spread out and sniff, and one of them, Dancer, finds something interesting on the ground and starts sniffing it heavily, and then begins to bark and howl.
What you got there, Dancer?
We're going to shut the dog up quick. Yeah.
You shush him. He growls and paws at the ground in a spot. He seems to have found a thing.
All right.
Fun?
Yeah. There's a small little creature, maybe about the size of this eraser. It looks vaguely mycenoid. You know, it's kind of got like a rounded top and a smaller column-like body underneath it, and it sort of like waddles as it walks slowly from side to side.
Did Dancer eat it?
No, he just sort of like pointed his nose at it and pawed at the ground near it and barked at it and howled.
Back, Dancer.
What is that?
Crouch down to take a closer look. Does it look demonic?
It looks almost like cute and friendly. It's like a little mushroom almost. I mean, it's not a mushroom, clearly.
Eyes?
I mean, so you're gonna have to like pick it up if you want to get that close of an inspection. You'll have to touch it.
I think I crouched down a few feet from it. I don't touch it yet.
Okay. It's only the size of this eraser, and it's got like a rounded top, so it's hard to see if it has eyes, especially when it's on the ground and you can't
is it
really.
Walking?
It's sort of like waddling from side to side slowly as it moves.
All right, I draw my swift sword and lay it. And put the blade of the sword towards the creature. But you know, like if you're trying to like pick up a spider or something like that, you like put a piece of paper in front of it and like shoo it onto that.
Right.
So like put the blade in front of it, and like so if it keeps walking in a straight path, it will like crawl up and start walking up the blade.
Totally, it does exactly that.
A frustrated thing where it like walks around and I have to reposition, but
I nudge Grimes in the ribs. Can you talk to it, Grimes?
I sort of hold William away so I can like hold it up steady without dropping it. And then I guess I pick up the sword blade and watch as the little mycenoid trots down the blade towards me.
Trots right over towards your face, and it does seem to have some sort of features on it. There are like these little red dots that are all around it, on the shaft, but not on the umbrella like top. And there is a wobbly slit that is reminiscent of a mouth. And while you're looking at it, it gets near the edge of the blade, the mouth sort of opens up, and some sort of green bily fluid spits from it towards you. Give me a saving throw versus spell.
Not a dodge. Saving. This is a spell.
Yeah, it's a saving throw. It's like dodging a fireball or a breath weapon. Give me a save versus breath weapon. That's appropriate.
Oh God, you sure it's not a spell?
It's breath weapon.
Breath weapon saves so bad.
I have no idea.
Grimes got to turn into a mushroom man.
I remember you have a penalty of 4 to all your saves in the demon realm.
Are you serious?
Yep, we discussed it the first session. It's shitty.
Okay.
You take 1 point.
So my saves are 18 versus breath weapon.
Yeah, you take 1 point of acid damage as it pukes up on your face. And runs down, maybe giving a weird burn mark from the lower part of your eye.
Yeah, I murder it.
Okay. It dies, it turns into little floating small things. It's the size of an eraser. You can destroy it.
You should have eaten it, Grimes. That's how they do things here. You should have talked to it, in fact. It might have known something.
Yeah, that was my plan until it spit acid on me.
Maybe we can find another one. I look around. Do any of the other dogs seem to be interested in these? Maybe there's more of them.
Yeah, you guys take a few minutes to look around, and eventually some of your other dogs start barking as well.
Do they find more? Are there little mushroom men all over the battlefield?
Yeah, there's little small mushroom creatures. There's maybe a dozen of them scattered about.
I stomp on one.
It dies underneath your boot.
I eat one.
You eat one?
Saving throw versus breath weapon.
Yeah, you won.
All right. You eat it. It has a spongy, fleshy texture.
Does it scream as it goes down? Nah!
It makes no noise that you can hear.
Okay, that's one demon.
So it does 1 point of damage if it spits on you, but if you eat it whole, you don't take any damage.
Yeah.
I'm keeping track of all the demons that I've eaten, Neal.
All right. Keep a track.
One demon mushroom man. Eat.
William the Demon Eater.
Perhaps can you try and talk to one?
Did
We're
I
in need of
communicate?
any information we can get here.
I prod at one, what's the word? Non-lethally with the sword. Oi, what are you?
It ignores you like you don't exist. Or maybe a better way to phrase it is like it ignores you like a beetle would ignore you.
Yeah.
But does it come out in like Eridonian when he talks? Or does it come out in some weird mushroom language?
He's speaking Dracissian to you.
Okay. I don't think it's working, Grimes. It sounds...
Yeah, I poke around with them for a few moments, but it seems like they're resistant to communication.
Yeah.
Or...
Okay, well, let's not get too distracted. Let's follow the warriors.
Speaking of distracted, where is my thingy? 2, 3, 8. William, what is your AC without your shield?
20.
20? Okay.
Yes.
So you will feel something sinking into a soft spot on your neck, something hitting your armor and falling to the ground. And Grimes, what's your AC without your dex? Like if you were caught off guard?
19 is my armor.
Ooh, oh, you just feel something hit your armor without actually penetrating to hurt you.
Yeah,
William, you're
plus
gonna
2
take...
dex.
You're going to take 4 points of damage as this something hits you in the side of the neck. And I'm going to need you to make me, when we come back from break, a constitution check. But we're going to go to break right now. And we'll see you guys on the other side.